Okay, good afternoon. We welcome you to How to Fill Out a Job Application Workshop. My name is Elma Kirkwood. I work for Workforce Solutions for Tarrant County, and my coworker is going to introduce herself at this time.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Esmeralda Garcia with Workforce Solutions for Tarrant County. Both Alma and I are business services coordinators, and today she will be facilitating the how to fill out a job application. To submit questions or comments in the chat box section and accordingly. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started with how to fill out a job application. And again, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat box and we will try to answer those questions for you. Okay, job seeker. If you are a job seeker, you will probably have to fill out one or more application forms. You should know that employers do read the forms and that the way you prepare the application can make a big difference in getting an interview and being hired for the job. So I'm going to combine talking about applications along with resumes because there are two different categories, and I'm going to share some tips and some suggestions. I can't talk this year, I've been talking all day. But anyway, just some little points that I want to bring out since I've been working with the workforce for 26 years this month. Just some of the things that companies have shared with me on job search and what they look for in applications and resumes, okay? Because our goal is to get everybody back to work, give you some little extra tips to look at, and I'm pretty sure you've been to other workshops and learned different things, so we're going to share with you on some of our tips, okay? You always want to be prepared. Whenever you're going out looking for a job, I will tell people to always get your mind in order. Get yourself, your confidence, everything that's going to take. You got to have good confidence in yourself, knowing that you can walk into that place and get you a job and walk out with a job or a career. So it's going to start with you motivating yourself, saying there is a job out there with my name on it. So we're going to help you get prepared today, okay? So you want to make sure that you know the correct names, date, places, and other information you will need. Don't guess. If not sure, try to get as close as possible to what you think is the correct date. Now, on applications, they may ask you, what was the name of the company, the address of that company, the dates, the month, date, and year of that company where you work there. And sometimes if you haven't worked at that company in a while, you will probably forget or don't get that close to the date that you worked there. But the thing that we want you to do is try to get close to the dates as possible. Now, on a resume, we normally go year-year. So if you worked at a company, you could go 1999-2020 or something like that. Or you may have to put month, date, and year. It just depends on who the company is. They may ask for that on the resume. But normally on application, they may ask for the month, date, and year in that little area down there for employment. It may be helpful to create a sample application to bring with you when you apply for a job, in case you must fill out an application form on the spot. Now, when I was laid off from work, I had created me what I call a generic application. And on that generic application, I would put everything on there that just like I'm filling out a regular application. And I would take that application with me along with a resume, because you can get information off the application that you can put in on the resume, vice versa. But you want to make sure that your resume and your application are neat and presentable, because the resume and application is a picture of you on paper that when the company get that, they will know it's you, and they're going to picture you from that. Is this person willing to work for us? Do this person have the skills for the position that I have put out there, the job posting? And will this person fit in with my company? So you have to think like a company when you're looking for work. Ask if you may take a blank application home. Now, there are some companies that still want you to come in, even though we're social distancing, they still may want you to come in and fill out an application. They may have you to fill it out on the spot. Some may say you can take it home with you, or you can ask to take it and, you know, bring it back. Or they may say, no, you can't do that. So what you want to do is fill out your own generic application. You can probably Google a blank application, fill it out, and take it with you just in case. Now, when you're filling out the application, you want to take your time. Read it over, and I'm going to stress this throughout the presentation, to read the job posting first, read the application, look it over before you start doing anything, okay? Now, you do not want to scratch or mark out any information on the application, because that looks tacky, it doesn't look good, and it surely doesn't look professional. Okay, you want to read the form again. Before you start writing, look for instructions that say use pen only, or that tell you to list information in a certain order. Look over the application to get familiar with what information they are asking for on the application. Let me give you a good example of this. On the application, they may ask for first name, middle initial, and last name. That's how we're used to writing our name. On some applications, they may ask for last name, middle initial, and then first name. We're so used to picking up applications and just started writing, and we don't pay attention to that simple statement. You go in, it says last name, and you put your first name, your middle initial, and your last name, and what ends up happening is they think you can't read or you didn't follow instructions. So that's not good. Read the form, look it over, get familiar with the form first. It could say use black ink only, or it might say blue ink only. So you need to look at the form, get familiar with it before you write and start writing anything, okay? So make sure you look it over. You always want to be neat. Use a pen, or if you take the form home, you might want to type the information in. If you need to correct a mistake, you can use correction fluid or tape, that correction tape or whatever, but you never fill out an application with a pencil or a color ink pen like red or purple. I've seen people fill out application with red, purple, and green ink. No, and I had to have them to refill it out again in black ink. Most companies like the black ink because when they make copies, it shows up real well, but you can do black or blue. Please take you at least 2 pens with you just in case one break on you, you have an extra one. It's not good to walk up and ask the people at the place, may I borrow a pen? That shows that you are not prepared when you're walking in to fill out an application or even to go to work, because some companies will hire you right on the spot when you walk in the door. So make sure that you have at least 2 working pens that write, and you do not have to ask them to borrow an ink pen. Answer all the questions completely and correctly. No proper dates and addresses and how to spell names and places. Don't make up answers. If it doesn't apply to you, use N/A, or you can draw a line through that. This will allow the company to know that you did not overlook this question. It just did not apply to you. Okay, so make sure you read it. If you do not understand it, don't make up an answer and don't lie on the application. So just use N/A or draw a line through there. You always want to spell the person name right. I just happened about a day or two, I spelled this person name wrong. I spelled it as Billie, and the person name was Billy. And they corrected me too. They said, well, that's not how you spell my name. It's Billy. So you have to make sure that you know the person's name and spell it correctly. You never want to use your nicknames. Do not. If your nickname is Debbie and your name is Deborah, do not put Debbie on there, because they could ask you to fill out an I-9. The I-9 will ask for your name, birthday, and all this stuff when they get ready to hire you. Your name and nickname doesn't match. That could throw up a red flag for identity theft, and we don't want that to happen. So you want to make sure that you write down the name that's on your birth certificate or your driver's license so that they can correctly know who they're talking to. And that also applies on your resume as well. You want to make sure that you put your name on there. I wouldn't even suggest you put Deborah in parentheses Debbie King. No, I would just go with my name and all of that good stuff. Now, on the address part on the application, you have to put that on there, but on resumes, it's optional. You do not have to put your address on there. It is an optional way. As long as you have your telephone number and a good email where they can contact you, that will work as well on your resume. You always want to be positive, positive, positive. You never want to go into filling out an application or going to a company with negative thoughts saying, oh, I probably won't get this job. Oh, look at all the people here. Oh, I wonder if I'm going to pass the interview. No, you walk in with confidence saying, I got this. I'm going to nail this job. You have to think positive. List what you have been doing, not what you haven't done. You want to think about the skills that you've been doing. You have to know the skills based on the job posting. I will stress, please read the job posting. The job posting that we write, we put a lot of effort in there to make sure that you know what the company is looking for. So we'll tell you the skills, we'll tell you the position, we'll tell you as much information as the company wants you to know so that you can ask yourself, do I meet the qualifications per this job posting? A lot of times people do not read the job posting. They'll look at the job title and say, oh, I can do that. You need to read the job posting to make sure that you meet the qualifications of what the company is asking for. For example, if you have been unemployed for a period of time, show the work you have been busy with, such as going to school, managing a household, or doing carpentry on your home. These are skills that you can put on your resume. If you're having problem with remembering your skills in detail, look it up on Google and put in that title and see what skills can match it, and ask yourself, do you have these skills, and put those skills on the application where they ask experience. What experience? What skills do you have? On your resume, it's the same thing. You will put down your skills based on what you have been doing with your employment. If paid experience is not specified, list any volunteer jobs or activities that can show your skills and ability to work. So if you work for a company, ABC company, you volunteer, they wasn't paying you, but you received skills, you learn PowerPoint, Excel, you learn how to file, you learn how to do so much, but you were still volunteering. You could put ABC, volunteer, put down the years that you worked there, and then you can list those skills because you actually learned something. And sometimes while you're unemployed, you can go out and volunteer in a position that you said that you think you might want to change your career in. Sometimes you will find out that this might not be the career. I've had people say, oh, I want to be a teacher. I say, well, why don't you go sit in a day or two and see actually what does a teacher do in a classroom? Then they'll come back and say, oh, you know what, Ms. Kirkwood, I don't think I want to be a teacher. This is not for me. So sometimes it's good to go and volunteer in the position that you are looking for, just to see, especially if you're changing into careers, to see if this is something that you would like to do. And then you can check and see if it's on the demand occupation list as well. You always want to be clear. Know the position, the title you are applying for, and the right salary range, okay? And now, one of the things I would suggest as a tip, and I hear this a lot, well, what position are you looking for? What kind of work are you seeking? Oh, I'll do anything. No, that's not a position. That is not a job title, anything. I haven't seen one name anything over 26 years. Every job posting that I've come across always had a job title. That job title is what we would call an objective on the resume. It would tell the position that the company is looking for, and on your resume or the application, you will be telling the company the position that you are seeking. So you want to make sure that where you see position or whatever is on that application, you will put in the position that you are seeking. I would not leave that blank, because you could be wanting a position as a caller, or, you know, vendor caller, or CNA or CDL, and you leave that blank, and they may have a janitorial position open, and you said, oh, I didn't apply for that, but they said on your application you left it open, so this is the open position that we have. So you want to be very careful leaving the position open or putting anything, even though I know right now some people may take a job just to make things meet, but I would be very particular about what position and title that I'm applying for. So you want to do that. Now, once you know the position that you are applying for, then you need to do some more research on the right salary. This is where your negotiation comes in, okay? And a lot of people forget about the negotiation. The negotiation helps you with your money, the money that you're going to pay your bills with. So you need to be able to negotiate or have an idea of the right salary range that you are looking for. So give you an example. I'm a mechanical engineer by degree. So if I'm going back into engineering again, I would need to know what is the salary that's out there for engineers. So I'm looking at, I could have left my last job making $50,000. Now I need to know what is the going base salary for a mechanical engineer in the aerospace. So I will go either on Google and look it up, or I'm going to go to that company and see if I can find a salary, because sometimes they don't put salaries on your job posting, but maybe I can do some research on it, okay? So I'm going to go in and see, okay, I looked this up. They're paying $70,000 where I left making $50,000. But I can do all the skills that they're asking for, so I'm going to set me a range. From their salary is $70,000, I'm going to set me a range 70 to maybe 64, 65,000 or something, 70 to 60,000, because you're always going to negotiate from high to low, okay? So you walk into the interview and they say, okay, Elma, what kind of salary are you looking for? I'm going to easily say, you know, just here talking to you in our conversation and looking at my resume, and you see what I can bring to the table. What do you suggest you would like to offer me? And he who mentions money first usually loses. So if the company says, well, I was looking at maybe 65,000. Now you have to remember, it's not a ping pong thing. You need to know exactly what is your high and what is your low. So if my high is 70,000, they're saying 65, and my low was 60,000. So they're in the ballpark, but I can still say, well, you know, I was thinking maybe 70,000. And they can either say, okay, we can go with 70, or they can easily say, well, let's work on it. Would you accept the 65? That's still in my ball range. So I could take the 65, but you do not want to go back and forth, sell with the 65. And this is where you can come in and ask, well, how often do you all do raises or promotions? That's when you know that they're getting ready and they're talking money to hire you, okay? You never bring up money unless it's where they're making you an offer. So this resume and application is to get you an interview so you will be prepared. So you need to know the position, you need to know your right salary range, and you need to research company information. You need to go into that company knowing the product that they make. You ought to be able to research that. And if they ask you, why do you want to work for our company? You will know the product that they are interesting for you to work in that company, okay? You need to be interested in the company, and you want to say it with excitement, like you are really, really interested and really want to go to work with this company. So please research, find out as much information, and then get ready to go in and interview and get that job. Now, we do have employment centers that you can go to. We have the Mid-City Workforce Center, we have the Alliance Workforce Center, we have the Resource Connection, we have the Central, and we have an Arlington Workforce Center. Now, these centers are open by appointment. And you can go in on the website, you can set up your appointment, you can use the computers, you can go in and do some of the orientation to find out what's going on at the centers. So look on our website, and if I have time, I'll go over that in a few minutes. But make sure that if you do not have a computer, that you set up your appointment to be able to go to one of these centers, and hopefully one of them will be close to your home, or if you're on the bus line, that you can be able to get to one of those centers and be on time. One of the things about interviewing, you always want to show up at least 15 minutes early so that you can sign in, relax a few minutes before they call you into the interview, okay? The employment centers can probably help you out a whole lot. Also, most application forms ask when you will be available to start work. Now, this is such an important question because nowadays, a lot of companies are in demand for people. They need people to start work ASAP. Now, if you are still working, it's always been customary that you would give your employer at least a 2-week notice. Now, Texas being an at-will state saying that they do not have to honor your 2-week notice. They can let you go at the moment that you turn in your notification, or they may ask you, hey, can you work a little bit longer so you can train the next person? But if you have already given your new employer a start date and they called you in on that start date, then you may have a problem. So you want to make sure that you do not put now or tomorrow unless you know that you can start on that day, okay? You always want to be prepared to answer questions. Why do you like my company? How long have you been working in your field? Can you tell me something about yourself? Why did you leave your last employer? These are interviewing questions that they can easily ask you when you come into the interview, because remember, your resume and your application is a picture of you on paper, and the employee, whoever is reading it, is trying to visualize this person so they can call them in for an interview. So you want to make sure that everything on your resume, your application, capture the attention of the employer so you can come in and be ready to answer any questions that they ask. Oh, now this one is a good one, okay? Alert references beforehand. Please alert the references beforehand. You're going to list people whom you have checked with and who have agreed to give a reference. There are 2 kinds of references. 1, character or friend. 2, your employer. Do not use relatives, and be very careful on certain friends that you may ask as a reference as well. Make sure that you know your references and you are in good standing. Okay, so I'm going to go over this with you because when I used to do work in HR and I had to call references, back when I was an engineer, I had to call references. And references can basically ask almost any questions that's not, out of the guidelines, but they can ask questions to see how well that this person know you and how well you will be able to work with the company. So you want to make sure that you contact the reference. So if I was going to use Esmeralda as a reference, I'm going to call her up first and ask her, may I use you as a reference? I'm applying for ABC company as a mechanical engineer or trainer, and here's a resume, and here's my generic application, and I'm going to go over that resume, and I'm going to go over some of the things that's on the application that is not on the resume, and I'm going to tell her, please talk about my job skills, but you can also add a little bit about my personality, and that's going to be based on whoever is asking the questions, but stay away from my personal life. They don't need to know how many children I have. They don't need to know my religion. They don't need to know if I'm married or not. All they need to know is, how do you feel about me being hired on with the company? Talk about my job skills. Talk about how you know me as a co-worker. So those are the things that you want to be aware of. Never put your references when they're caught off guard. They call, I'm ABC company. I'm calling in reference to Elma Kirkwood, and she put you down. Who is Elma Kirkwood? I haven't talked to her in 5 years. You never want anybody to say that when you are using them as a reference. So I'm just giving you some examples. This is a very important thing, because sometimes references are the ones that actually get you the job. Because if people are speaking very highly of you, and they can feel the enthusiasm and they can feel the excitement when they're talking about you, that stands out, with the company, because they say, hey, this person really have a lot of respect for you. They are putting you out there, and references are putting their name on the line too as well. So you want to make sure that those references are in good standing, that you ask permission. Even if you're buying a car or a house and they ask you for references, call those people up and ask them, may I use you for a reference? Okay? And then let me give you an example of what I did one time. I gave my friends their reference and my coworkers, and I went over everything with them. And maybe a couple of days later, I called them up, changed my voice, played like I was a company, calling and checking on myself. I asked them certain questions, and they did very good on that. And then I called them back and told them, you all did very well on that. And they said, was that you? I said, yes. It didn't sound like you. No, it's not going to sound like me, because I didn't want you to know it was me. So you can even do that and just to see how they do on your references. Oh, on resumes, you never put references on your resume. Your references should always be on a separate sheet of paper. You need at least 3 to 5 good references. Take those references, put them in your portfolio along with your resume. If you have a generic application, your certificate, everything should be in your portfolio, so you will be ready just in case they ask. You will have those references already typed up, neatly typed, and to give to the interviewer. Make sure that there's no kind of coffee stains or anything like that on them, okay? You always want to reread the application or your resume when you are finished. Make sure you correct any errors or omissions. Check your spelling. I know some computers have spell check. Then hand it in or mail it in. Because some companies will still have you to walk in, social distancing, to fill out an application. They may ask you to do an interview right then. So that's the reason why I say you have to be ready. If you are mailing the form in, it is a good idea for you to make a copy for yourself and then date that application or resume, file it, and then go back a week or two, and then what you want to do is follow up. If you have the telephone number, you have a business card of the person, or their email, that you can just call them up or email them, follow up if you can. I know some are online do not give out that information, but if you can find the information or they give it to you, then follow up with it, date it. Do not call them every day and ask them. You know, maybe a week or two, call them up and ask them. I had a person one time call me every day on when they, you know, turned in their resume, trying to figure out, have you hired anybody yet? No, we haven't. We will contact you and let you know if you have a position. But it is good to follow up if you possibly can, okay? If you're going to mail your application in, you can send a brief cover letter. The cover letter is just another introduction. It's similar to the introduction that you can put on your resume, which we call the summary. The summary is a brief statement of you, telling a little bit about yourself. So when you do go into the interview and they say, tell me something about yourself, you have that on your resume. You have it so you can answer that question. And you stay with the details. And some of the job postings will tell you what they're looking for. If they're looking for PowerPoint, Excel, good communication, oral communication, filing, or whatever, you can put that in your summary as well. Now, at our centers, we do have workshops called MAPS, Measure and Meaning, Attitude and Altitude, Purpose and Pattern, Sources and Success, which spells out MAPS. These are virtual sessions. You can go into these sessions at the centers, and you can also set up, and you can see what time those workshops are given. Now, you can also connect with us on social media. One of the ones I would suggest, LinkedIn. If you're not familiar with LinkedIn, go and look it up, check it out. LinkedIn is a good way to network. I'm not for sure if they still have a lot of networking clubs going on with the social distancing with COVID, but that is a good way. Over 70% of people get jobs through networking. That's a good way for people to know you on LinkedIn. You can put in your position, you can put in information. If you go to a networking club, be prepared to do your little commercial saying, hi, my name is Elma Kirkwood. I'm a facilitator trainer at the Workforce Solution. I'm looking for a job in this area. If you hear of anything, please contact me. Here's my business card. You can go and get, I think Vistaprint do business cards, or you can go on Publisher and make up your own business card to pass out and leave with somebody, because what you always want to do is leave a good impression. First impression is always the best impression. Even if you get a second go around, make sure that's your best. Leave that impression. So even if you go into the interview, you want to leave such a great impression that whoever comes behind you, they can't think about nobody but your name. So you want to make sure that you have everything together when you walk in, and make sure that you have the confidence to win this interview. Now, we're at the Workforce Solution for Tarrant County. We're a proud partner of the American Job Center Network. Our website is www.workforcesolutions.net. So you can write that email address down. And our phone number is 817-413-4000. And Esmeralda will put our email address in the chat, so you will be able to contact us as well if you have any questions after the presentation is over. Okay, I'm going to share some more information. Okay, now if you're not familiar with workintexas.com, this is our website right here, workintexas.com. This is our way of looking for work in Texas. You will be able to create your username, your password. Even if you forget your password, they got a section right there for you. You can go in, if you speak Spanish, you can go in as well. We have a Spanish one right there. And you can do searches for jobs in your area by keyword, zip code, even a range here. So if you did not want to go 30 miles out, you can go right here. You can click on there. They say 5, 10, up to 50 miles, or you can even go statewide because it will service the whole state of Texas. This is what's good about working in Texas. So if you was looking for a job in Houston, Texas, you could go in on Work in Texas. You can select Houston, Texas, Lubbock, Texas, Marshall, Texas. You can go in and select the area that you're looking for work, and then you can get your job before you even get there. So it's good to go in and register on Work in Texas. Now, we also give you an update of how many job openings. That is a lot of jobs opening right there. We give you our up-to-date how many we put in today, and look at the active resumes. So you can go in as a job seeker, find a job, find a state of Texas job, and you can create your resume here. And on this resume, you can go in and put as many skills as possible. It's going to be based on keywords. So go in there, build your resume. We have veteran services, education and training, all sort of good things in Work in Texas. And the employers can find a candidate. You might be that lucky candidate that day. And they can go in and put in a keyword and your name could pop up. And they can contact you by your name, your email, and your telephone number. I want to stress, please use a professional email. Please do not use an email like, I want to be a player, or I'm a fisher or a fisherman. I love to fish at gmail.com. Use your name. Please be careful about putting years like 1960. They could look at that as your birth year. They could take 1960 minus 2020, and they can come up with you being 60 years old, and they can say, oh, they're in this age range. We might not want to. You want to stay away from anything that could give you an age discrimination. So check it out. The employees can go in as well on the Work in Texas. And we also have other information at the bottom of the screen. You can also, okay, can you all see this screen here? Okay, this is our workforce solution for Tarrant County. Okay. On this screen, pull it down. You are able to go into the resource room by appointment only, and these are our centers right here. We have the Alliance Workforce Center, the Arlington Workforce, Central Workforce Resource, and Mid-Cities. Everything mostly now can be virtual. Just to give you an example how this works, October the 7th, which is today, Mid-Cities welcome, and information session starts at 3:30 to 4:30. If you was interested in that, you could click on there and you will be able to get information on there. So those are just some little tidbits that I want to share with you today to let you know a little bit about what we do. And just to go over, just to reiterate, please look over your resume. Look over your application. Your life depends on it. Your career, your job depends on it. You want to make sure that you're ready for this new career. My slogan is, there is a job out there with your name on it. You have to be prepared. Let someone look over your resume. Let someone do an interview with you. Let someone help you fill out your application. So know the position that you are seeking. Make sure you meet the skills of those required qualifications that they're asking for. Dress the part. All companies do not ask you to come in a three-piece suit. You can come business casual, but you want to make sure you come presentable for the position that you are seeking. Make sure that your mind frame is together. Never go in there saying, I'm not going to make it. Look at all these people here interviewing. Oh, I probably won't pass the interview. Oh, please, don't go in thinking negative. You have to think positive. You have to stay positive. I know it's stressful being without a job, but there is a job out there with your name on it, okay? So get yourself together. Make sure you have your resume. There are two types of resume. The functional resume, which is tailored to the position. Only say, for instance, I'm looking for a mechanical engineer. My functional resume is only going to have my skill that will pertain to the functional resume of a mechanical engineer. Chronological resumes are in order. Your last job first, then the next job, and however the job behind that, okay? You always never want to leave gaps on your resume. You want to put something down like volunteer work, you were self-employed, whatever, you in college, you're in school or whatever, make sure that you have something there. No errors, no coffee stains, no lipstick stains. Make sure that you present that application resume like it's $1 million. Okay, I'm finished with my presentation. I hope you all enjoyed it. I love this. I love encouraging you and motivating you. Please keep your heads up. Go out there, get this job with your name on it. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer those questions for you.
Thanks again, like Elma said, for attending the workshop. If y'all have any questions, feel free to submit your questions via the chat. We'll stay on for a few more minutes, and if there's no questions, then we'll go ahead and conclude our presentation.
And thank you all, too. I really appreciate you all taking the time out to be with us today. Like I said, Esme is going to put our email address. If you need us, if you need any assistance with your resume, if you want me to look over it. And I know you all probably have been in other workshops before and you hear different tips. And that's all we can do is give you some tips from experience, what we've had and share with companies and what companies are looking for. And again, some companies, you know, may not ask for a lot. How to update my main resume. Read that again for me. Okay, if you send your resume to our email, if you send it to me, I will look it over, me or Esme. But if you can send them to me, I will be more than happy to look it over. You can email it to me. Esme is going to put our email address in the chat so you can get that, and I'll look it over for you. And I'll, you know, get back with you on it. There was a question.
I've already added the email addresses, contact information for Elma and myself in the chat box. And the next question that just came in says, do we summarize what we did in the job we have done, or do we copy what the actual job position duties are from?
Let me answer that one right quick. Okay, what you want to do on the job posting, read the job posting very carefully, okay? Now, there are going to be some skills in that job posting that you can take out of there and put it on your application or resume. You want to at least do it, I would say at least on a resume, at least 10 skills or more, but try to stay within at least 10 good skills. On the application, they may not give you enough room for that, but you want to make sure that you get the skills that they're looking for. Yes, you can. I would doctor it up a little. I wouldn't go verbatim where, you know, what they put in there, but I would emphasize on those skills that they put in there. And you can copy and paste some of it. Add your own skills along with their skills that they put in the job posting.